Hello there. My name is Brandon Foxworth. My name is Brandon Foxworth. Brandon Foxworth. Ladies, gents, and gender queers, what's good, baby? I am glad that you are here. I know, I've been gone for a long time. But you know what? I'm back to shine. You like my rhyme? I do it every time. So you see what it is. This is my 10-year anniversary of me coming out. I came out July 30th, 2016. And I just want to come on here to just talk about this because I think this is important, yes. And I also believe someone out there, whether you are an ally, whether you are becoming an ally, or whether you are the very person that has just recently came out or is thinking about coming out, or maybe you're reminiscing on coming out, maybe this video will touch you. So if you know me, you know I love Moonlight by Barry Jenkins and Terrell Alvin McCraney. And the very, very beautiful thing about this film and about this video is that Moonlight came out in 2016, and I'll explain to you why this film is so important for me. I think we have to start with my coming out story. So I think I'll start with my coming out story and then sort of what was my reaction afterwards and what has life been throughout these last 10 years of being a proud, openly queer Black man. As I tell this story, I'm going to be very, very specific with my words, as there are certain people and friends, ex-friends, family members who I want to protect. Yes. And also our relationships are still growing and healing. And I just want to be aware of that, while also noting that this is my story. This is my experience. And that is fucking valid. 2016. Let me put things into perspective for you. That October before, in 2015, I had lost my father. I was 19 years old. I'm in my sophomore year of college at Western Michigan University. I'm getting my BFA in theater performance. And so, you know, there's class, there's credit hours, there's people, there's rehearsals, there's all types of things going on. There was a certain group that really challenged me and challenged my masculinity and challenged my toxic masculinity. And I fought very hard to get in this group. And the trigger for getting in this group is that someone who was already in the group told me, oh, I don't know if you can really get into this group because you're a nice guy. And I just don't. And I sort of at that moment took that as an insult, because I'm like, what do you mean? Just because I'm nice, you think I'm not strong enough to get into this group? And so it was a time of proving myself. Also in 2016, I had a girlfriend. Now, on one hand, I'm going to say this about this ex-girlfriend. I am so grateful for her. I'm so grateful for our time that we spent together. She is one of the rare people in my life who have actually shown me what it is to be loved the way that I deserve to be loved. And, you know, I was real good friends with her for 2 years. And then, you know, sort of this year, and I was still like, I wasn't out to family, wasn't out to friends, but I was out as bi to people, but I always knew I was gay, but also now I say queer, and we'll get there. But she is queer as well. And so, you know, it was sort of that chance of someone who I already have a friendship with, and sort of also just a time of like, it happened naturally. I do believe we were soulmates. Maybe not in the romantic sense or in the sense of like divine union or divine partnership. You know a soulmate when you know. And it's interesting because she really helped usher me into more of my queer expression and being myself. Just setting the scene, right? Father passing, going to college, trying to be in this group, this toxic masculine group, or just this group that has a lot that is challenging my toxic masculinity, as well as I'm interested in men and I'm dating a woman at the time. And so a lot of like identity things are going on, right? Also, I was an orientation student leader at Western Michigan. What's up, also, also from 2016? Hey, y'all, I love y'all. The orientation student leaders are, it's sort of like there's a legacy. Like Western really takes the orientation, when the new freshmen come in, Western really takes the folks who give them their tours. Western takes that very seriously. And it's like a chance of self-discovery while also learning things about your undergrad and where you are in this city. And I mentioned that because that was huge also for like finding out who I was. Because again, my father had just passed. So, I think with my father passing, there was this, I don't know, like this next ownership of self, this grabbing the baton, this taking the next step of your manhood, your personhood. Yeah, and so all of these events in my life, and there were so many, were really challenging and throwing me side to side of like, who are you? Who are you trying to be? Who are you really? And so throughout this time, I come to this day in which, oh, hold on. Okay, bear with me, okay? So a family member of mine, whom is very near and dear to my heart, it's so interesting. As I look back, I'm like, wow, Brandon, like you were telling yourself and you were telling life and you were telling God, my connection with God is so like, of course, but you may not know that I have a deep connection with God. I love God. I don't say that I am a Christian. I'm really moving away from religion. I'm a follower of Christ and Christ's teachings and Yahweh, and just continuing to know God, Father God, Mother God, the Creator, Source itself, and Source themselves. And so God means a lot to me. I'm also a minister. I was ordained as a minister when I was 16 years old. And so by this time at 19, I had already passed the, oh my gosh, I'm apologizing to God for me being who I am. I'll never forget at 18 years old, and this is going to be TMI or rated R or what have you, but I would apologize every time after masturbating to gay porn. I was like, and like it was it was this sort of loop that I just kept going into in this journey with God, that kept being this shameful walk, this shameful journey. It's like if I wasn't what churches or my parents or the godly folks thought I should be, everything else I apologize for, whether I said sorry or I walked around with sorry on me. And I remember they had got to a point where, not just with me, masturbating, which is so fucking normal. And like, does God really care? It like got to this point where it was like, all right, here's where I'm confused at. Because again, I'm a minister, right? So, and my way to ministry even is like, it was brought to me. Like I stepped up to the plate to it. I'll say that for another video. But it got to a point where I'm like, all right, God, because this is how I talk to God. I'm like, all right, God, look, how is it that you can take away cancer, you can shift tectonic plates and allow an earthquake, you can tell the rivers where to go, you can tell the tsunami where to go and where to cease, you can do such immaculate things, you split the Red Sea, and you can't take away this gay thing? And it's like every day I tried that much more to run away from myself, to fight the urges, the natural urges. And the urges weren't all sexual. It was just like, no, like, I like men. I love them. It's just been there since I was a kid. It just wasn't normal or natural to the people around me. So I'm just like, God, like, why won't you take this gay thing away? And then for the first time that I can remember, I heard God's voice. Look, some people may go, well, what does God's voice sound like? It may be different for everybody. God may speak to you through the wind. God may speak to you through a bird that's passing by. God may speak to you through a stranger. God may speak to you through media. God may speak to you in silence. And for me, what I've learned is that for me, I thought God was going to have this big booming voice that that I've been told was the voice of God. But for me, in that moment, right here in the center of me, where so much lies for me, I heard the voice there. And I was really distraught. Like, I'm talking about it so clearly now, but at the time I really was going through it. And I heard a voice right there say, I didn't say that, people did. And it didn't argue with me. It didn't go back and forth. It just said it. And how I knew it was not me talking to myself, because when I talk to myself, I try to prove it. I try to go, okay, well, why does this make sense? Let's make this make sense. But that voice went, I didn't say that, people did. And it knocked me off kilter for a bit. But the knocking off kilter actually knocked me on kilter, because it was at that point that what I had always known, because I always was questioning things as a kid. I always was like, well, why I got a problem with gay people, but y'all ain't got a problem with these racist people? Or why I got a problem with these gay people, but you ain't got a problem with these pedophiles? Like, what is going on? I was always like, what? And it was a time for an internal confirmation, a confirmation that did not come from a preacher or a pastor, a confirmation that came from within me, from the being that always lives within me. And I didn't argue with it. I couldn't. I had never heard nothing so speak so soft, but so powerful. And then I just started this process of like, well, why are we apologizing? And that journey continued even after that moment of 18, when I heard God's voice, even after this moment of 19, when I came out, for years. And still to this day, I am learning not to apologize for being who I am. It is a daily practice. And I don't believe, if I was white, if I were another gender, if I were another sex, if I identified another way, I feel like all of us, for the most part, right, has this journey, this internal journey of, all right, I'm no longer going to apologize for who I am, especially when who I am ain't hurting nobody around me. If anything, is bruising people's egos, because they may be gay too, but they were told they couldn't. And how dare this black, dark-skinned, queer, big man, with this body, and how dare they be themselves? Well, girl, it wasn't easy, but here I am. Let's get to the coming out. So, I'm with my girlfriend. I'm living with my girlfriend at the time. And how I knew something, as I look back, I'm like, I didn't even tell my family that I was living with my girlfriend. I just like, they came up and they brought my dad's car up, because again, my father had passed, and so I got his car. They brought his car up, and I was sort of like, oh yeah, by the way, here's my girlfriend. And that tells me something. One, she did not deserve that. I loved her, but I was not in love with her. My family comes up and I'm kind of like, oh, it's now maybe you can, because I wasn't bringing nobody home. It was like, you don't bring no girls home. I said, because I ain't fucking with no girls. You don't really, what girls you seeing? Or if I am talking about girls, I'm like, oh yeah, I got these girls. They were all men. Except for my ex-girlfriend. But So yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And then I'm like, all right, let's move on. Let's go. Thank you for the car. Boom. I'm like, I can continue living a lie because let me tell you, here was my plan all along. It was Brandon all along. Agatha, WandaVision? No? My plan all along was stay in the closet until it is time to graduate college. Once you graduate college, you either go to grad school in California or you move to California where you will be yourself. California always, for me, was always, that will be the place that I can be myself. And so I said, all right, you'll come out in California. You'll be so far away that if your family disowns you, hey, we on our own, we go create a new family, but no, right? Now, oh man, it breaks my heart that I even had to think that way or that people need to think that way. But like, that's how real it is for queer individuals, especially Black queer individuals. Because on one end, it's like you go out the house and the world judges you for being Black and the world judges you for being queer. Then you go in the house and you're like, oh, well, inside the house, I won't be judged for being Black, but then I'll be judged for being queer. And so it's like there's no, like, where do I go? So pretty much got my car. The next day, a family member calls me. A family member that means a lot to me. And this family member, at the time, really held a lot of weight of what I felt, and I didn't want to disappoint them and all these things. And I had been living this life for so long, and this family member knew. Like anybody in my family that's like, I can never know. It's like I had pictures of Zac Efron on my wall. Come on and look. Even if I had pictures of LeBron or Michael B. Jordan, see, gay as fuck. Why not think about Michael B. Jordan? I'm thinking of like sports and shit. Anyway, no matter what, queer people can love whatever. I can have fucking DMX on my wall. I can love rap music. It don't matter. But anyway, I'm not going to trigger myself too much into this story, but it got to the point on this phone call where this person pretty much pulled out of me. I wasn't ready to come out. I had this plan to come out in Cali, and so this is not the plan. I'm like, y'all have met the girl. Like the lie continues, right? It didn't. This person pulled it out, and I had stopped it before it got to the point. Like they kept asking me, "Are you?" And their questioning for this was, I guess they didn't believe it, or they're like, "Why didn't you tell us?" And so I pushed away until I just was. I was working at Walgreens at the time. I was in the parking lot while I'm on the phone with them, and I was like, all right. I got to get back to work. And now, can I tell you how traumatizing this was? Because again, one, it goes against the plan that I had. Like, I wasn't going to come out now. I was going to come out later. Not now, God. Not now. Not now. And this person, like, this was like so out of their character. They're asking me, am I gay? And I say no. And they say, you're lying. And I'm like, now wait. Because for me, it's like, if you've shown me that you can be an ally, like if I was a kid and I did something that was considered gay, and you were like, well, it's okay, sweetie, if you want to, then okay. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Is so when you see this person whom you know has been homophobic and is homophobic, but they're not letting you, like, I would imagine this person would want me to lie, but they didn't. And I'm like, okay, God, what's going on? And so it was kind of like, it was like out of my control. And so I went back to work and I was crying. I would never forget this. In my biopic, this will be a funny moment, maybe a sad moment. But I'm putting milk in the frozen section at Walgreens. And I'm crying because I'm like, why? Why won't they just let this go and just let me live this lie until I go to California and I leave, and then I can come out and then I can be myself? So this person had told me, well, I'm going to call you back. I was like, God, may they not call back. May they just let it go. They didn't. He called back later that day and eventually gave me no choice but to come out. And I told them a lot. I, in that same conversation, told them that I said I came out as bi first. I have 2 coming out days. So most queer people do. I came out as bi first. So I came out as bi. And I had also told them on that phone call that I was a rape survivor. And I had been holding that in. I had been holding in the fact that I was gay forever. I had been holding in that I was a rape survivor for about a year and a half. And I didn't even know I was a rape survivor until I talked to my ex-girlfriend and told her what happened when I lost my virginity. And she was like, that was gang rape. And I was like, huh? So again, I will always be grateful for my ex-girlfriend. But I remember when I got off the phone call with this person, this family member, I remember I fell to my knees and I felt empty. I felt like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again. Katy Perry? No, not a laughing matter. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, man, I fell to my knees and my girlfriend was right there and she held me. And it's like, I don't know, man, like this. But God knew what God was doing, right? Like my ex-girlfriend, she was in a sorority and her little was also her roommate. And so they were there and she was there for me. But man, did it feel so crazy to have this moment happen and I felt like I wasn't ready. It wasn't my choice. But I learned a lot of things at that time and as I look back, that a lot of my choices weren't my own. They were always tied to family and what is family going to think. And so throughout these 20s, I'm turning 30 next month. Throughout these 20s, I've been learning like how to, like where family is, what that means for me, and where I am. And I remember my ex-girlfriend, she took me to Checkers, or some of you, it may be called rallies. She got me food. And from then, it was just this journey of, for me at the time, it was like, but maybe it won't be too bad because I came out as bi and I got a girlfriend. And it's like, now that this person in my family knows, it's like all my life I've been just waiting for them to know. But now that they know, it was like, oh. One of the biggest fears that I had happened and I survived. And I'll be honest, I know my family loves me. Oh, I know that to be true. And because we're being real here, right? When I came out, there wasn't a lot of support. And it's one thing to say, I don't care that you're gay. I don't care that you're alive. I'm okay with you being alive. Huh? It's one thing to say that. And it's one thing to say that to yourself and not say that to me. There were some family members, and I will always remember. I will always remember who, from the beginning, said, I love you. Well, okay. I already knew that. There weren't a lot, though. Off top of my head, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4. 4, and I have a huge family. And again, I love my family. And at this time, I needed them. And I needed them in ways that they didn't know how to be there for me. I don't believe I'm the only queer person in my family. In any family, right? Is there only one queer person? No. And I technically was the first one in my immediate family to the first gay person to come out. And so as I look back, I have a lot of grace, right? And I'm like, well, I can only imagine they didn't know what to do, right? They didn't know how to be there for me. They have and have been having to, and probably will have to, combat these homophobic rules and ways of being to be close to me, to still love me. And I can only imagine that, and this is why I believe a lot of queer people, this is why I believe, this is one of the reasons why queer people exist, is we challenge this unconditional love statement, and we challenge this notion of norms, these notion of norms that people wrote, that is made up, right? And I'm happy to say that much more of my family are accepting and have shown their love and support going on. And that's some of the things I want to talk about over these last 10 years of like how it was. But I got to be honest, like in the beginning, I didn't feel that support from my family. What I heard a lot was silence. I heard a lot of silence. And in terms of church, because after I came out, I hadn't been to a church, and I remember I came back to my church, and my Nana's best friend, Auntie Katie, who was like huge in our family and also in the church, and a church going woman, a godly woman, and who had always seen something in me, some things in me. I remember I came back to church for the first time after family had known and whatnot, and I remember I came up to her, and my heart was beating so fast. And I remember I was like, I had stopped to her, and it was only her and me at the door. Everybody else was inside. And she was like, so I heard. And I was like, uh-huh. Scared. Just because here's the heartbreaking thing, right? After you come out, you see a lot of folks that you thought loved you and you thought loved you throughout whatever, and that you both had this similar experience with each other. When they start to like, when they don't say anything to you, or when they start to shut you out, or it feels like you're being shut out, it's heartbreaking. And you have to really, because let's be honest, right? Gay people, it has been a history of us being disowned. And so I was like preparing myself to be, and for my whole life, preparing myself to be disowned. I prepared for that so much that I was planning to go to California, move away, far away, come out, and be okay with being on my own. And I remember Miss Katie stopped me at the door. She said, I heard. And I was like, She said, I love you, and God loves you. And once you get in here, don't you dim your light for nobody. Nobody. You hold your head up high and you be yourself, because God made you exactly as you are. Mic drop, my nigga. Mic drop. I said, in church, this one, and that just gave me, it's like, after I came out, it's like my whole spine went away. I literally fell to my knees. I was baptized. I was renewed. And throughout life, brick by brick, God has placed these like titanium bricks in my spine to create a stronger spine. And what Auntie Katie said to me on that day placed a strong brick in the spiritual place of my spine that had me, because I just kept thinking, why would God have that happen here if it wasn't to tell me something? And here I am, still with my girlfriend. And it just got to a point where I was like, well, they know. I feel this distance from my family and all these things. And with my ex-girlfriend, I had also that year, again, 2016 was a huge year. I moved into a theater house with some friends or roommates of mine. And that house was very, very special. 6 people. A majority of us. By the time we left that house, damn near everybody was queer on the queer spectrum. When we entered the house, 2 people were out. When we left, a lot more people were out. But a safe space, and truly a moment in time in which I learned there's family, and blood family is not everything. Blood family is not all your only family. And some blood family are not actually family, they're relatives. There is a difference. And chosen family can be just as, if not stronger than, some blood. And here I am with this chosen family who, when I'm going home crying because I feel like my family don't want to talk to me, or feel like I'm going through these things, they're there to be like, we got you. I love you. Be yourself. Dance. Wear that nail polish. Wear that hat as a wig. Go out and be yourself. And my ex-girlfriend as well was very, 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 very supportive. But it was getting to this place for me where it was like, all right, now the people in my family know. That was like the scariest damn thing for me. And I'm again in this group that is challenging my toxic masculinity. And it was honestly, if I would have stayed in that group, I left that group, thank God. If I would have stayed in that group, I probably wouldn't be here with y'all, because it was killing me, as it was also challenging me. And I was trying to prove something that I did not need to prove, but I had to go on that journey to get here. And so I'm with my ex-girlfriend, and I'm just realizing, like, I'm not in love with this person. And this person deserves love, and they could be getting the love that they deserve. But they're here with me, and they deserve more than that. For them. And I just recognize that. I'm like, all right, look. Here's what I thought, right? Because I had never been in a relationship. And I still to this day, I say that I've never been in a real relationship, because I wasn't in love with my ex-girlfriend. And I haven't been in love with anyone and stayed committed, you know. And so I thought to myself, when I get home from work, from rehearsal, work, I would like to think that when my ex-girlfriend is there, if I'm going over her house, I'm excited to go over my partner's house. I'm excited to go see it. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see my baby. I can't wait to see my baby. And it's like, that wasn't happening. And she's given all this love, and I'm not even really trying to let myself accept it, because I know it's not equal. It's not receptive. And so things are piling up, right? And I ended up leaving that group. Thank God that I did. I was doing a show at the time, The Foreigner by Larry Shue, and I played The Foreigner. And here it is, this farcical comedy with some crazy ass ends to it. Also, 2016, Trump became president. Girl, what the fuck, right? And so I'm doing this show, and until I did Fat Ham years later, The Foreigner was my favorite show. Because it was a show that taught me a lot about myself, and I realized how foreign I was being to myself and in life, and The Foreigner really like gave me going on this journey of this character who starts to play in this very shy, meek, non-confident, insecure place, and ends to play in a secure place, having found their people. Going on that journey nightly, sometimes twice a day, was like, after a while, it's like, if I'm doing a play where I play the president, that's going to leave with me that sort of gravitas that a president would have. And so this person finding themselves at the end of this play, and I'm going through this year of finding myself. Here it is. It is the last day of the play. I was also working for a movie theater at the time, and I did a no call, no show, because I had scheduled work on the same day as the play, and I didn't find nobody, and I didn't go. I didn't call them. I know that's like, why'd you do that? I was 19. I didn't know. I was 20. didn't know. On the last day of the play, I talked to my girlfriend because we had already felt it coming to this place. I talked to my girlfriend, and I broke up with her, and she knew. She even said like I knew you were gay, like when you said you were bi, like I thought, that something could happen with that, but no, like you are gay. And then she even told me, I want you to say it. And girl, I couldn't even say the word gay. I couldn't even say it. There was like a hold, a spell, a trap over my voice where I couldn't even say the G word. And she told me to say it. And I said, I'm gay. And she held me and I held her. And there was a mutual respect and love. And we continued to start to part. And once, because I believe my family or this family member was okay with there being a girl in the picture. You could be bi just as long as you got her. But after a while, the family member saw, oh, the girl's not around. What happened to so-and-so? We broke up. And there was that we broke up that was also in the same vein of me saying, I'm gay. There will be no other girl. And so after that, now I really want to bring into to the conversation God in this time. And now we're going to switch to where moonlight comes into the picture. God means everything to me. Even as I grow, God means a lot to me. And I have a really strong, can't nothing break my relationship with God. I have a strong relationship with God, and I've seen things that I cannot unsee, and I felt things that I cannot unfeel. I've witnessed things that I cannot unwitness. And I was really confused with God because I'm like, yo, dude, how I am about all this, and like this is happening now. Like I didn't want this to happen now. Like why is this happening now? And it was as if God, it ain't as if God said to me, I used the person that scared you the most. You were more fearful of this person than you were of me. And I had to use this person to break you open. And I need you to be out of the closet now. I know you had a plan for it to happen then. I need for it to happen now. And from being in this beautiful theater house with these beautiful folks and having this torn relationship with my family and with myself and with my identity and having just done this play and I mean all these things are fucking happening and swirling around, and I'm like, who am I? Like what? God, okay, God, give me something. I hope Barry Jenkins and Terrell Alvin McCraney see this one day. And then around that time, again, I'm in Kalamazoo. I saw this trailer for this movie. And I see these black men. There's something going on between them. I'm like, this seems like it's queer, but they're not on the nose. And there's these beautiful shades of black and blue. And it's as if like a fucking siren. It called to me. It beckoned me. And I went, I need to see that. The first time I went alone. I like going to the movies with myself. I went and I saw this movie. I said, let me go see this movie. I sat up at the top. Wasn't a lot of people in the theater. Black queer film, Kalamazoo. It just wasn't, especially in 2016. Child, so much was going on. Wasn't a lot of people going to go see a film like that in Kalamazoo. But I did. I sat up at the top. And the lights go dark. And you hear, every nigga is a star. Every nigga is a star. And I go, oh, okay, God. And then you see Mahershala Ali pull up in this car. I'm seeing moonlight over 200 times, so I know everything, girl. Damn near. You see Mahershala Ali pull up in this car and go talk to one of his employees in his drug business. And they talking, shooting the shit back and forth. I'm like, what is this? Like, first off, Mahershala Ali is fine. Brother, now, look. Now, I'm wanting you to be my mentor and big bro one day. So just know. But at the time, I was like, damn, nigga, fine. I don't think you take that to offense. Anyway, Lizzo, period. And so I'm like, damn, okay, period. But I'm also just, looking, right? And then I see Alex Hilbert, who plays Little. There he is. I see him running and kids chasing him, calling him faggot, calling them all these words and these terms. And it was as if I saw myself, and I'm seeing him in this uniform, and it made me think about the little me. And I was really out of touch with the little me. Unless I was performing on stage, I was really out of touch with him, the true little me who has always been queer. It's like I was open to a certain percentage of myself, but not to the full percentage, and I'm still getting there. I see Little, I see Alex Hilbert, I see him running, and these kids calling him names and bullying him, and this feeling of being alone and this pain and no one to hold him and no one to hug him and no one to protect him until Mahershala Ali's character comes in and loves on him. And at first I was skeptical about that relationship because I was like, what is this gonna be? Because not a lot of us black queer boys have had masculine, straight, whatever you want to say, black straight men be there for that, for us in that way. So I was experiencing something for the first time that I had never seen before, that I always hoped. And I'm watching this film and I'm crying all throughout this film. And let me tell you, this film saved my life. It was as if when I came out, God was like, I know you're confused as to why it happened now. And this movie is not everything of why it happened now, but watch this movie, son. And I watched that movie, and this movie showed me that my pain is not in vain. That I went through this, not just for the sake of being hurt or the sake of being triggered or of being deserted or isolated or unseen, unheard or unfelt, but that your story may save someone else, may bring someone else closer to God, closer to the God that is within them, closer to themselves. Your story could save someone like this. Your story could be turned into art. Your broken heart could be turned into art. I had never seen anything. Nothing in black media, nothing in black cinematography. I had never seen anything that hit me on that level like this movie. There were too many parallels. And it lifted me out of a discouragement. It lifted me out of a hopelessness. And I started listening to the soundtrack. I pre-ordered the movie. I even bought one of the original posters on eBay. Like, this movie was everything, and what it taught me, especially being able to, right? Because think about this. Now, if you've never seen Moonlight, it happens in 3 parts. A gentleman named Chiron, who has a nickname that is Little and has another nickname from someone special that his nickname is also Black. And so the movie is broken up in 3 parts, as Chiron is a kid to a teenager to a grown man. And I had lived through, now the difference with me and Little is that Little pretty much was out when he was a kid. Which, whoa, right? But In hindsight, I had lived through little. I was sort of living through and lived through Chiron. But Black, I wasn't there yet. And I'm sort of like looking ahead at what could be. And it inspired me. You ever see something or listen to something or taste something and you realize it's what you had been searching for? Like you were meant to find it. Or people that you're like, fuck, I feel like I already knew you because maybe I knew you in another lifetime. And so this movie, man, this movie changed it changed the fucking game. It affected me so much that I can't show you, but I have a tattoo of a moon and in Moonlight Black Boys Like Blue, one of the quotes from the movie, on my left pectoral where my heart is because, well, you know, the heart. But it's there because it kept my heart beating. I think if Moonlight was not there, I don't know if I would still be here with you all. And I mean that just truthfully. You know, art has a powerful way of making people want to keep going, and Moonlight was that for me. Bit by bit, family members started to catch on or started to open up, and some haven't. But I had this chosen family. I had gotten to this point where I was like, well, I'm gonna be all right, and I know God loves me, and God just sent me Moonlight, and Moonlight just saved my life. Why would God keep saving my life to do me to hell? Like, girl, that's y'all. And I'm much more there now. Now, I'll tell you, my nigga, when I came out, I did not foresee me making it 10 years. Just like I couldn't see it. Right? I was like, how's that going to work? And based on my family at the time, I just didn't see a way in which they would accept me. I thought that would be a fantasy, a dream that was only meant to stay in dreamland. But it has come to reality. A lot of things have. And is there still ways to go? Hell yeah, there is. But man, it has not happened the way that I would have expected, or some of it came through facing trauma, facing enemies, facing generational curses, facing yourself, facing father wounds, facing mother wounds. But I'm here. And I say this to you all, and I also say this to 19, 20-year-old Brandon. Hey, B. You're okay. You kept fighting. And sometimes you didn't have to fight. The fight was fought for you. You've got some amazing friends. Amazing queer family. You have made so many friends. There are family members who grow to accept you that will blow your mind. There are moments in time that you will experience your family, your friends loving on your queer self that you never thought would have happened. Also, we did a play called Fat Ham by James Iams, in which we played a Black queer boy on stage who is also supposed to be another world version of Hamlet. And our family saw it, and they supported us. They drove 5 hours to come see us perform. We, this year in 2026, have put out our own short film, which is queer. And we were in another short film that we play a queer character in as well. God has continued to let you know that coming out at that time was meant to be. There have been many people who have come to you and have heard your story of you coming out, and either these people have turned into allies or have come out themselves just from seeing you. There was nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. You're a star amongst Stars, you're a supernova event. You are a galaxy in a human body. Your queer pride only grows stronger, even when this country does and this world does everything that it can to make you feel like you shouldn't be. God and God's people that God has put in your life continue to remind you that you are meant to be you. And what Auntie Katie said to you, yeah, it's true. God made you exactly as you are. And dude, I'm fucking proud of you. You continue to go and keep your head up when it looked like you were being fucking ambushed, or where it looked like God, is this real? Yeah. And there are still people out here who are not okay with it and don't respect it. And guess what? I'm glad to tell you, we don't give a fuck. We don't hide. We're being ourselves, out and proud. We DJ'd drag shows. We spent our 21st birthday in Boys Town in Chicago and had just the gayest, grandest time. We've been to some prides, but not really had a full pride experience because we've been working as a professional actor. I can only imagine what these next 10 years will bring, but I just want to say, like, it's also been hard, right? Like, we felt like we are just having like another puberty moment that is real hard, and we feel like we feel 10 years old in gay years. Just do with that what you will. For like a teenager, because I didn't get a chance to experience crushes and well, I got to have a crush on somebody, but I didn't, I wasn't out, so I didn't have the 17-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever age, going out to the movies with someone you like, out proud and all these things. But you get some of those moments in your 20s. And I'm excited when we are 40 and we look back and we tell you what happened in our 30s. I'm hungry, so I'm about to eat. But just want to say that I love you. I love you, Brandon. And anyone who is watching this right now, baby, it does get better. And then it gets testy again, but then it gets better again. You're going to be okay. And you know what you need, right? If you feel that things are not safe right now to come out or what have you, you do what you need. But just know that if your family disowns you or has disowned you, there are chosen people out here who will love you stronger than blood. So, happy 10 years, Brandon. Here's to 10 more.